This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the new action comedy, The Killer's Game, plus reactions to the final trailer for Venom: The Last Dance. The cast of the He-Man movie is taking shape. Stephen Amell is still mad at a line from the Peacemaker show. Quick thoughts on Rebel Ridge on Netflix, Malignant, The Boy and The Heron, The Kite Man show, and more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, September 16th, 2024.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh yeah, hello listener. How's it going? Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, he puts the ick in John Wick. It's Rug Boy. It's the best I got. It's the best.
John Wick.
I'm guessing I'm back.
I mean, it's an assassin movie. It's a more famous one. I don't think anybody barely watched the movie we're going to be talking about this week. So,
Yeah, we were really grasping at straws to figure out what we wanted to talk about this week. Huh?
I mean, I think I picked a dud. I blame it on myself.
Oh, shit.
Does the word assassin have two asses in it?
It does. I believe there's like 4 S's in the word assassin, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's 2 S's.
I can't spell.
You just let the computer autocorrect. These robots are here.
That's right.
They're here to help us.
Fix it, ChatGPT.
Yeah. So look,
Fix my ass.
fix my ass. 2 S's. Like a double S.
Like 2 asses.
We got an assassin
Well, I
movie.
have 2 asses. I have a slackhole and a butthole.
Oh. Well, that
Yeah.
complicates things.
So I guess this is apropos for me.
You are a double assassin. You are an ass.
I'm a double ass.
You double ass. ass in ass. There's ass in ass.
You got
the assassin.
007, you got double ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week we opened with Beetlejuice. This week we're talking about penis juice, and now this week we're talking about his 2 assholes.
We had to get there somewhere.
Look,
We had to somehow we had to get
Band-Aid off and
we
start
had
off.
to
Yeah.
we had to get to some kind of toilet potty humor.
you got to start out with the dick jokes. So
Yes, kind of sexual based humor.
listen, if there's a puppet you hate, you can hire Ruggs to take him out. That's also what we've learned.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah, he provides these services.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's an app and everything. So we'll get to
those are just for dick pics.
that's his OnlyFans. Sorry.
It's a different app.
Anyways, we're going to talk about some assassins later, but we got some trailers, some geek news to discuss. Let's do it.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
You guys get this. Very soon, we will be living in a world in which exists a Venom live-action trilogy with nary a hint of Spider-Man.
Oh,
I
shit.
did not think they would be able to pull that off. But here we are.
They're doing it.
They're doing it. Case in point, Venom: The Last Dance, Venom 3, the end of this trilogy, put out a final trailer as I think tickets went on sale. This one coming out October 25th. Some interesting details in this trailer. Did you guys get to see it? What do you think, Anthony?
I did watch the trailer. I was unclear who he was fighting.
Correct.
Now it's very clear that he is fighting, if you read the comics, Null, who is what, the symbiote leader?
Yeah. Yeah, he is a big bad in the comics who created like the Clintar symbiote race.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got that in this trailer. And I'll tell you what, the Sony Spider-Verse, has been not my favorite. But this trailer, you know what? I'm cool with it. I don't, the Venom's been flawed from the beginning because he doesn't have Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it's big, stupid fun. And it's been like that for the first 2 movies. And it looks like it's going to be like that again. So, yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Expectations are not high.
No.
Right? We already know what we're getting.
Right.
We had the first 2 Venoms. The second Venom was kind of a waste of time. I don't even remember seeing it.
I don't remember.
it
Yeah,
either.
Woody Harrelson.
Carnage was in it, which is crazy.
I barely remember.
Yeah.
There was a church. There was a jail, prison break. I don't know.
I don't even remember any of that.
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
Barely remember.
All
that.
I remember is that I saw it,
Yeah.
and Woody Harrelson was supposedly in it.
It's
the bad wig.
Yeah, that's a red one.
Yeah. So I don't know. My expectations are low. As long as it limps over those,
Yeah.
I think I'll be okay.
Look, this is goofy, silly fun, and I agree with you, Anthony. I watched this. I was like, oh my god, this looks like kind of silly, goofy fun. And there's some fun lines and some fun jokes before we even get to the null of everything. I like that they gave, I guess all the symbiotes are running from Null. And I don't even know if we'll see him. I bet he'll be just in the movie, maybe for 5 minutes. It seemed like the way they showed this cameo. I don't know. But some of the goofy shit I was starting to dig. So I think it'll be a fun time. And we just said you go in with low expectations. I appreciated them using Wild World by Cat Stevens. It was now Yusuf Islam. Great song.
I liked when they used it in Skins.
Love the Cat Stevens. But who is Null, Bruggs? What do you know about Null?
Nothing. I mean, I know that he's kind of like a celestial being, or he's kind of like an old being.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's very complicated and convoluted, as is comics.
And he creates the Venoms. I don't know, what are they called?
So Null, created by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, first appearance in 2013. Not only did he create, they retconned that he created the Necro Sword and created the Clintar symbiotes, but the Gore, the God Butcher storyline in the comics, you know, that black sword that dude had, he took that from Null, which is the Necro Sword in the Gore, the God Butcher. So he's connected with Thor a little bit, but apparently he's one of the recent really big, powerful villains in the comics. I've not read anything about Null. There's a storyline called King in Black, which is one of his titles. And if you just read his origin and his back, it's a fucking crazy convoluted.
The thing I don't understand is when they make up these new villains, but act like they've been there the whole time.
Yeah. So this guy,
and I fucking hate that.
This guy killed a Celestial and had something to do with Nowhere, and they banished him or some shit. It's kind of crazy. Anthony, you know anything about Null?
No, I don't know much about Null either. So
yeah, we just get a side shot of him. It looks like comic accurate.
Doesn't God Butcher get a weapon from Null?
Yes, I just said that. You weren't listening.
I wasn't.
Null created the black Necro Sword.
What are you doing?
Are you watching? What are you watching? Football? No, it's Monday. Basketball?
He's checking scores. I don't know.
Tinder? Is it Tinder? Is it Bumble?
No, definitely not on
Monday Night Football, right?
Hinge? Is it your Hinge app?
I was reading an article about the Sphere.
Monday Night. Oh, this fucking Sphere in Las Vegas. We'll get to that. You got yourself distracted. But yes, Null is loosely connected to Silver Surfer.
I think
Thor.
Null gave the God Butcher. Is that right?
Yes. Or the God Butcher.
I think we all know zilch about Null.
Nobody knows that. Yeah, we know Null about Null. We know none.
We know
about
next to Null.
Next to Null about Null. But people are excited, are fans. When the comics started doing all the symbiote storyline, it lost me. I was like, this is too much. I can't. I was fine when there was one or two. And then they just make this whole thing and there's fucking symbiotes everywhere. And I was like, nope. Never mind. It was good while it lasted. Because then how did they explain Peter finding the thing on Battleworld, the alien substance that makes his black costume that's Venom? That comes down. Did Null put it there? Was it stashed? I don't know. They retconned this whole thing.
Yeah, they've gone to great lengths to fuck with everything. They fuck with it all, Imran.
Yes. Well,
hey,
yeah.
you give anyone enough time and it all get fucked.
It's fucked pretty bad.
Yeah. So here's some more fuckery.
It's FUBAR.
This whole Null thing has led to lots of rumors, possible spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Regarding the future of Null and other MCU movies, specifically Spider-Man 4, one of the Twitter scoopers, Alex Perez, he had heard about Null earlier this year, and he heard at the time it wouldn't be a one and done. And it's possible. Okay, so it says here, spoilers again, quote, by the end of Venom: The Last Dance, we may see Eddie Brock cross over into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with some sources indicating that the recent reshoots in New York City for Venom: The Last Dance has to do with that. So there were some reshoots in New York. Maybe Tom Holland was there. And he goes, not only that, I'm hearing the potential villain for this film, Spider-Man 4, would be Null, who was seeking to enshroud the entire multiverse in his darkness following its discovery. Like, this is a big bad up there with, like, your Kang and your Thanos, and they're going to port him over from these movies. Is this a good idea? Is this going to work? Sounds
like amateur
if
bullshit.
Tom Hardy's Venom gets to play with Tom Hardy Venom gets to play with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU. That would be crazy.
Yeah, but it would still be empty.
Yeah. It doesn't make, it's not the same, backwards. Right?
It would be like, I don't know. It'd be stupid. It'd be like if the Joker was like from another universe and Batman never met him before.
Right. And the Joker was also the hero in his story.
Right.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. I mean, they're probably going to do it because Venom's made money. You know, they want to keep pumping stuff into Tom Holland Spider-Man, so they're probably going to do it. The other thing I was just going to comment, Imran, is you mentioned Null being a big bad up there with Thanos and all them. Maybe he's written like that in the comics. I don't know.
Yeah,
but there's definitely not the cachet with Null that there is with Thanos. Like I don't think that's a very they're not the same.
I mean, he's a newer villain. You're right.
Yeah,
you know,
he hasn't been around as long as Thanos or Kang.
That's true. But from what I was seeing, I was like, this guy's fucking. They're making him like this badass, hard to kill, bad guy.
No, that's Steven Seagal.
Oh, that's hard to kill. Yes. You can't when he forces the girl to kiss him at the end. You know, that's awkward.
It's hard to kill the one where where they talk about he's like, I'll the blood bank line.
Let me make a withdrawal.
Bank, Senator. Something. No, he goes, I'll take you to the bank, Senator. The blood bank.
The blood bank. It's a great line. It's better than.
I think that's hard to kill.
I think that's hard to kill. It's a good look. It's better than a lot of lines in the movie we're going to talk about. As bad as it is. Okay, but this is all confusing because we saw No Way Home post-credit scene. Eddie Brock was in the MCU and leaves a bit of the symbiote. And then in a lot of these trailers, you see that same bar and that same guy, but with Chiwetel Ejiofor there. I don't know which universe that's in, and he's taking a sample of what was left, but that was over there. And then for him to come back, I don't know what they're doing. Destin Daniel Cretton's got his work cut out for him. That's for sure. If this is actually the plan, this could get really messy. I don't know.
Yeah. It's insanity. I don't even know. When you have like so much divergent things and you're trying to like force them together and they don't go together.
Yeah.
And they're just doing it. I mean, this might be wrong. This is all speculation. We don't know. But the fact that people will even speculate and consider it a possibility.
It's all speculation. The evidence is only in the trailer. You see him in Las Vegas mostly, but there were reshoots in New York City, whether that's standing in for Las Vegas or New York City. You don't see anything like that in the trailer. So whether they're keeping that from us or they weren't sure, they changed a lot of it. I don't know. So we just got to wait a little over a month to find out. Listener, let us know what you think about all this. Did you like the last final trailer for Venom: The Last Dance? Join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. There's a link in the episode description. All the jocks, all the cool jocks and nerds are there, hanging out.
You can talk to us all at the same time.
We're waiting to say hello to you.
That's right.
Come to you.
Why aren't you calling?
Why aren't you calling? Todd Bridges will come to your house.
No one knows that reference.
Oh my God, that's so sorry. Old Saturday Night Live reference.
Just me. This is just for me. No one will know.
Okay, I just got a couple other things. Let's move on to. This is something Anthony will be very excited for. Just kidding.
Oh, you got my attention.
That live action He-Man Masters of the Universe movie.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the reaction to this.
Still getting made.
It's not gonna get made.
I never thought it was.
This is as far as they're casting.
They're casting. It's now at MGM, Amazon bought MGM. They're making the movie for theatrical release 2026. They have cast Prince Adam / He-Man, Nicholas Galitzine.
Never heard of him.
He's in things called The Idea of You and Purple Hearts. Never heard of him. Camila Mendez from Riverdale is going to be Tila.
Okay.
Recently cast Allison Brie as Evelyn.
Okay, that's a little bit of a hammy.
Right? That's interesting.
She's kind of hammy.
That's interesting. Putting her, she's great in comedy. They cast her as as Evelyn. And then Travis Knight is directing this, by the way. He did Beetlejuice.
And the Pips.
Travis Knight and the Pips are directing this.
Yeah.
And he's a good director. He did Bumblebee. But latest report, Jared Leto reportedly offered the role of Skeletor.
Oh, shit.
In the Masters of the Universe movie, according to Jeff Schneider.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I guess
he is 50. It seems like he's got to have a little bit of fucking gray hair on his balls now.
That is weird. He is older.
Maybe he's
now.
a little bit different. I feel like I don't know.
He's going to be in Tron, Ares. Maybe that'll bring his cachet up a little bit.
I mean, is he the worst actor, or is he just in bad movies?
He's just picking stupid things like Morbius.
Like he was the Joker. That was the thing that ruined his career.
Yeah, but he has won an Oscar.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He was
in fucking Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, he's great in that. And of course, My So-Called Life with
that's right.
Danes. You know what? I can kind of see this. Of course, you're never going to beat Frank Langella under that costume in the original.
Who would be the best Skeletor?
Holy
Let's have
shit.
this conversation.
Right?
Like Bryan Cranston?
Cranston? I don't know.
Skeletor, man.
Skeletor. You just need. I mean,
or Mads Mikkelsen. I would go.
Do you need a big guy?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh my God.
Lex Luthor.
I'd rather have Leto any day of the week.
Yeah, Jared Leto definitely over him. But Jared Leto,
absolutely.
I don't feel like Jared Leto's. I mean, he's kind of like a scrawny guy.
I know. I was gonna say he might have to bulk up a little bit. Depends on how they write this. Skeletor.
What about Robert Pattinson as Skeletor?
Oh, he can't be. What are you talking about? You have it.
How about Batista as Skeletor?
Now you're getting closer.
Whenever I think of Skeletor, because I have no association with He-Man at all.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Skeletor, I just think of the GIF or meme of him just yelling into the air.
Well, and his voice from the show is very high pitched. He's like,
that's right.
You, He-Man.
I'll get you, He-Man.
So
but Frank Langella from Skeletor, dude, he had that bassy voice.
Frank Langella is fantastic. He's having so much fun in that movie as Skeletor, and it was really good. But look, to your point, Ruggs, you got Allison Brie as Evelyn. Do you think Travis Knight, they're going to dig into like a campier thing with this?
Allison Brie just, for me, throws off the whole thing because all these other people are like drama actors. Right. And she, even though I think she can do drama, for some reason, whenever I see her face, all I see is comedy.
Yeah.
Like, even when she was in that wrestling show.
Oh, in Glow, yeah.
Like, it's hard for me to like take her seriously. But anyway,
I mean, you could have a lot of fun with this He-Man movie. They got a date, they got a director, they got a cast. This fucking thing might actually happen. That would be
shit.
That would be crazy.
This is crazy.
You know what? It's not a bad cast.
It's so far.
It's crazy. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Like this guy playing He-Man though, he's kind of like wimpy, but maybe he'll take steroids like all the other guys.
They've got good drugs.
You give him the stuff.
Well, get the Camille milkshake and then
give him the stuff.
Give you the stuff, Imran.
Yeah,
I know.
Have you seen that trailer for that movie called The Substance?
I've seen a trailer for it. I haven't watched it yet.
I need that stuff. It's this crazy movie. It looks great. It's Demi Moore's in it.
Not Ozempic, Imran.
It's similar to Ozempic. There's a thing in this movie called The Substance.
It makes you younger, right?
Yes, you inject it, and 7 days you get to be a different, younger version of yourself, and then 7 days you get to be your regular age, and it goes back and forth or whatever, and this girl builds this whole career as an influencer while taking it and being young, and then it starts to go wrong, or they split. I don't know if it's like a horror movie. Very interesting movie. I saw this trailer. I was like, holy shit, what is going on here? I need that shit. Can I get that?
I mean, it'd be cool. Like if you're going to Vegas with your boys to take the substance before you go.
Take a substance. You're like 20 again. You're like young and good looking, and then you fucking get it for you're 20 for like
then
5
you wake
days.
up and you're a fat fuck again.
Yeah, that'd be great. No, what could go wrong there? Sounds perfect.
In your 20s, did you have all your hair, Imran?
I had a lot more. Yeah,
Imran was gorgeous in his 20s.
I had absolutely, and it was long. I could grow it long, but then I shaved my head for a little bit, but then I grew back.
Teeth weren't so good. Where are they though?
No, they were fine.
The teeth were fine.
Teeth were
that
fine?
didn't go
When-
until later.
Yeah, when did the teeth go?
That was like 30s.
Okay.
That was like while they were doing this podcast.
Yeah,
it was,
yeah,
it was,
Yeah,
it was like he was in
it
his-
was the beginning. God, when we started this podcast, I was
Now
still
you have your porcelain veneers.
I was still in my 30s when we started this podcast.
Really?
Think about that. Yeah, I think I was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, late there.
Geez, you being in your 30s. That seems like impossible.
he never acted like he was in his 30s. He went from being like a drug addled fucking kid in his 20s to being like a grandpa. Like he just leapt into like the easy
The
life,
drugs will do to you, kids.
wearing no socks and shit.
Let that be.
No side.
I just went from being my 20s to like, can I just retire now? Fuck the middle part.
Start wearing suspenders.
Yeah. my waistline
This is-
gets higher and
Yeah,
higher.
'cause I've only known Imran as being like a 75-year-old man trapped in a zany Pakistani
Oh, man.
albino body.
I had lots of eras. I'm in my 75-year-old man era now and very happy.
Hey, get him on some of that substance.
Let me get that substance.
He needs it. I need some.
Yeah, we all need that shit. That
He is
movie looks
passing
great.
around.
Okay, last thing in the news. This is fun. I wanted to talk about this, pose this question. Remember in Peacemaker season 1, James Gunn writes this line for John Cena Peacemaker, kind of taking a dig at Arrow, at the Green Arrow. The line actually was, that dude goes to brony conventions dressed as the back half of Twilight, sparkling with a 4-inch wide butthole drilled into the costume. So Stephen Amell did not care for that line then, which was like 2 years ago. And apparently it still bugs him. Oh, shit. To this day, because in a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet, forgot how you say it. I don't know how
Van
you say it.
Vliet.
Vliet?
Yeah.
Van Vliet. This is what he said, quote, I guess it came up. And he goes, that was a little unnecessary. I don't fucking appreciate that at all. I'm just going to come right out and say this. There was such, between the movies and Peacemaker, a little bit, our show was kind of treated like shit. I get it. We're on the CW. I get it. It's TV. But I also get the fact that when people think about the most recent iteration of DC, they don't think about the Snyder Cut. They think about the Arrowverse. He says we got crapped on for years and years, and this just seemed excessive. I'm not actually mad, but I remember hearing that and being like, fuck those guys. Like, seriously. And he's like, do you know how hard it is to play a superhero with no superpowers for 23 episodes a year? It's really, really hard. Yes, that sounds hard. He's like, maybe don't
he
shit
has a
on my
point.
show. So,
I mean, the Arrowverse is what started our show, right?
It is.
kind of, yeah. Like
yeah.
Arrow, when the Arrow was a couple of seasons in, and we were like, oh shit, look at this show. Kind of taking it.
At the time when Arrow first came out, no one had any expectations for it, and it was surprisingly well done. And we weren't getting much. We weren't really getting TV. Now you look back on, you're like, wow, that's really dated because it is. But at the time, for the first 2 or 3 seasons, I mean, that season when they had Deathstroke,
Yeah.
I thought those were really good written episodes. The action wasn't the best,
Like,
but it is what it is.
Like that show was so good that it fooled my dad into watching
Oh
it.
shit.
He had no idea that it was like a superhero show.
Yeah.
And it had gone on. I gave him my Netflix and he had put it on and he just like started watching. He's like, what the fuck is this? 3 episodes in. I'm like, it's a superhero show. He's like, oh, you fucked me out.
Yeah. I mean, it was presented as a
Shit.
vigilante show, right? Kind of like dark and
Yeah.
And they had the whole gimmick where it was like you have the present storyline,
Oh,
but then you
that's
had
right.
the past storyline where you were
That was
learning
great.
more about his origins
On the
and him on
island.
the island and
Yeah.
all this shit. So
it was like Lost mixed in with there, like right
Yeah.
after Lost was popular. That shit was great.
it was good. It just kind of fell off a cliff after a while because they kept running there was only so much they could mine out of that past. and
You have
present.
failed this city.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, do you agree when he says when people think about DC, they think about Arrowverse before anything Zack Snyder? I guess he's not wrong there.
No, I mean, that's a stupid thing to say, too.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with there really isn't like a definitive DC that I think about in terms of live action. You have
That's
your
true.
original Superman, you
Yeah.
have your Batman.
Yeah.
Then you have other movies that some were good, some were bad. Your Nolan stuff, but there's not like a definitive. This DC is where we would want to hang our hat because even the Arrowverse stuff, some of it was good, but again, it's very dated already. You watch that stuff and you go, "Oh man, this is really melodramatic."
Yeah.
This is very teenagery.
Yeah, I mean, it was CW. It's television. It's
Yeah.
drama. Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, for a long time, it was just like the 60s Batman. That's what people thought of. That's in there still. And there's a little bit like Man of Steel and some of the Justice. I don't know how much that's
If you're a kid, it's great, right?
Yeah.
It does everything. But
And it was like nothing for Marvel. This was before any of the Marvel Netflix shows or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything. Like Greg Berlanti recently, I watched the Emmys this weekend. He just got like the Governor's Award. He had 20 shows on at one time at one point. He was show running 20 shows on the air on different networks.
Wow.
So, I mean, he did a lot for the genre and maybe spread it out a little too much. But we still have Superman and Lois still exists. There's one season left of that show that's going to air. And that's it. Remember all the shows they had? It's kind of crazy to think all the shows that came and went. Nah, it's all done.
I think the first 2 seasons of Arrow and the first 2 seasons of Flash are good.
Yeah.
They hold up.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of not so great.
It was Legends of Tomorrow. I thought that was fun. It was fucking silly.
It was all right.
It was fun.
It jumped the shark quickly.
Yeah. Black Lightning was kind of interesting too. I don't know.
I don't
There's a
know.
lot
You
of
had what was it? Supergirl at one time. Flash,
Stargirl.
Legends.
Oh, you have the Stargirl.
Didn't you have that one where was the Batgirl and then the girl got let go after one season?
No, that was the movie. And that there was
right.
there was a show.
Batwoman.
There was a
Batwoman.
Batwoman show that got canceled.
Yeah, there was one girl, and then they switched her out with another girl.
That's right. Oh my god, I forgot about
Swapped
that.
her out.
Yeah.
And then that still didn't do any better.
Supergirl got better though. Like it started on CBS and I thought it got a little bit better.
Every time I think of the actress that played Supergirl, I think of the fappening.
She's
That's all I
She's
can think
married
of.
with kids now. So
she's
Married with children, like Al Bundy.
She is
That's right.
stunning in that show. It was the only reason to watch the show. Melissa Benoist. But yeah, they've had
Melissa Bemoist, am I right?
Melissa Benoist. That's such an old joke. Anyways, it's funny how he's like still butthurt about this stuff. I mean, just let it go. I don't understand what the problem is. But it's fine. You gave us something great for a little bit.
and now he's just relegated to making Netflix movies with this brother.
With his brother that nobody watches. Like there's a Code 8 Part 2. Like there's another one of those, and he's doing that wrestling show Heels.
I think his brother showed up in like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Robbie Amell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, Robbie.
He's like an elf in that.
Fuck,
and you got-
he's getting elf work, and Stephen Amell is just going on podcast. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's your time. Okay. Anyways, that's it for the news. Let's take a break here. We're going to talk about a very large man carrying a very small woman and a whole group of assassins. The Killer's Game review right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
Attention podcast listeners and YouTube watchers. I'm Logan, the host of Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. Every week, join me, PC Mike, The Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Carrie as we talk MCU, DCU, books, TV, movies, and more. MostlySuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Watch us on YouTube, listen where you get your podcast, and we'll see you Sunday on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, you're here with us laughing, making dick jokes every week. It's a great time. To join our Patreon fan club, visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jockandnerd. And you can give back and you get stuff. There's tiers with lots of benefits. There you get access to a bonus podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's instant reactions to movies. You would have found that this week. You got Rug Boy posting mad crazy reviews. You posted up a lot this week, Rugs.
It's better than ever, if the Patreon. If you haven't joined yet, you should do it now, because now I'm involved, everyone.
You need more
Right?
Rugs.
I'm kicking in
Who
now.
doesn't want more Rugs? You could get one-on-one time with Rugs. He put up three bonus movie reviews, and we'll talk about those later. And instant reactions to this movie were up there. It's a lot of fun. And there'll be more stuff. We're just going to keep slamming it. I'll put one up eventually.
More content for everyone.
Yeah. I like doing reviews with you, Rugs. Those are fun when we'll do like
more of
the
those.
impromptu, just like jump on and talk about
If we happen to see something at the same time and we're not going to mainline it on the show, we'll do it on the Patreon.
And at some point, Anthony might be involved.
I like doing reviews with you, Rugs.
Well,
fuck,
Anthony,
you know what?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go sit this one.
Oh, you heard that? I thought I muted you. I thought I muted your channel. Shit, I didn't mean.
I forgot that Anthony.
he was here.
I thought Anthony would not care. But
I think I'll sit this one out, you son of a bitch.
That's what I assumed too. No, we'll get Anthony on there. Let's not forget you did a sports show for a long time. You put in your bonus content time.
I did. And then there was the time when I was Anthony Polanski and I was getting money to review movies.
Yeah. Those are great too. So there's a lot of everything.
There's things, but it's these two fuckers watch a lot of shit. So
we do watch a lot of garbage. You can also join us on our monthly Discord hangouts. Guess what? This month's hangout is this week. It's this Thursday.
Oh my God.
September 19th, the day after this show posts. Be there, sign up, and a bunch of other fun stuff on our Patreon. Check it out. Link in the episode description. Okay, let's get to this week's movie review. I kind of just picked this movie on a whim. I think I maybe saw one trailer for it. There was absolutely no buzz, but I was like, oh, action comedy, right up our lane, kind of our genre. We've been enjoying a bunch of those. And I said, let's review The Killer's Game, which is what we're going to do. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Now, I'll let you know at the end of this whether I regret that choice. Because you don't know. Kind of walking in, I think we all just kind of walked in blind to this movie. I did not know a lot. This movie, actually based on a novel from 1997 by Jay Bonansinga, also called The Killer's Game. On Rotten Tomatoes. Here we go. 33 reviews. It's sitting at 39%. Yeah. Audience rating, 78%. The movie was made for $30 million. It does not do great. Like I said, no buzz. I don't think anybody even knew this movie's coming out. Opens at number 6 with an opening weekend tally of $2.6 million.
It's high.
Floppy Jock.
Yeah, not 26.
I think that we gave them most of that money.
Yes, a lot of that was the three of us.
Yeah.
And this one also by Lionsgate. That's 0 for 3 for Lionsgate in the past couple of months. Borderlands, The Crow.
Wow.
And now this one.
They're going to go bankrupt.
I'm surprised they're still running a business.
How did they fuck up so bad?
I don't know. Maybe this should have just went to streaming. They, these. We'll talk about it. This is a kind of movie that you would normally now see on streaming, but it's in the theater. The movie directed by J.J. Perry, who is a former stuntman, has worked on like the John Wick franchise as a stunt coordinator and doing stunts. Also directed Day Shift. Remember that movie? Vampires with Jamie Foxx, Netflix. It's all right.
Yes.
It's all right. Written by Rand Ravitch, James Coyne, and Simon Kinberg, doing some rewrites throughout this movie's went through development hell. They've been trying to make it for a long time. Starring Dave Bautista, old Drax, as Joe Flood, Sophia Boutella as the love interest Maisie, and then you have a bunch of colorful assassins played by the likes of Palm Clementif, Scott Adkins, Terry Crews from My Favorite America's Got Talent, host of AGT. Drew McIntyre, who is a wrestler, WWE wrestler, I believe.
Who knows?
Ben motherfucking Kingsley. Gandhi is in this movie.
Yeah. he was very pacifist.
Yes. Marco Zaror is a guy you may have heard of. He's in this movie. And some other people we'll get to when we get to them. It's a bunch of assassins. The movie's rated R. It runs an hour, 44 minutes. Anthony.
That's me.
What's the plot? What happens? What happens in The Killer's Game?
The Killer's Game is about an assassin in this colorful world of assassins. It's kind of similar to your John Wick. And, there's a whole society and a code and all that stuff. And he meets a girl. And he decides he wants to get out of the game. But then he gets sick. And because he's sick, he does something stupid and calls a bunch of assassins on him. And then he has to fight them off. And that's the plot.
Well, I mean, I think we could just include the whole premise, right? Essentially.
Actually, so I'll just start by saying the premise itself. He's been an assassin. He's getting all these headaches. Goes to the doctor. The doctor says he has a terminal illness, right? And he's fallen in love with Sofia Boutella, but he doesn't want to like break her heart. He wants to just cut it off because it's like he doesn't want to tell her about his life.
Leave her some money, possibly.
He doesn't want to like her to watch him suffer.
Yeah, he's got 3 months to live. Yeah.
Right. So he calls a hit on himself with a lady that hates him. And then as the hit is about to take place, he finds out the doctor fucked up.
It's just incompetence.
And he's
fine.
And he's fine. He's going to be fine.
So now
that premise right off the bat, I was like, this is kind of clever.
Right? It's contrived, but it's kind of interesting and fun.
It's normally the plot in these is like, hey, an assassin. You have an assassin of all assassins, and now all the other assassins have been called to kill the top assassin, and he has to fight them off.
I mean, solid plot, solid structure to play with.
But instead, they do he called it on himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So, with that kind of fun premise, Anthony, how was the execution? How did you feel once the movie was over?
So, my theater had probably 12 people in it.
Oh, that's 15? That's more than I had.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. What did I think of the movie? I ultimately thought the movie was pretty harmless. There's a ton of these movies now where it's this whole assassin culture, stylized action, over the top characters, comic booky. Like they're making a shit ton of these now.
Yeah.
Or just even movies kind of like this. Like even Boy Kills World that we saw has kind of got this kind of same tone.
Absolutely. Yep.
So these movies are now a dime a dozen. I thought it was just all right. I mean, it's not a movie I would say I was blown away by. It was not a movie I would say I think I'll ultimately just forget about it.
Yeah.
You got Batista walking around with a bad haircut.
Yes,
I feel like Sofia Boutella. I feel like she's like the queen now of like these B movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at times I thought it was kind of funny. The action's really not that great. There are some funny one-liners that I wrote down, but overall, I think Batista's a better actor than this.
Absolutely.
And he just kind of got typecast in this role, and he's like very nonchalant. It's kind of an odd movie. I don't know.
It is. It's a mash of tones. Ruggs, before I ask you, I'm just going to say, let me preface this by I took some edibles going into this movie, and they hit like right in the middle towards the end, and even the edibles couldn't save this movie for me.
Shit.
I just thought it was okay. I thought it would make it more fun. No, it just made it seem longer. But like you, I was like, it's just okay, and I have a lot of questions. But it's harmless, inoffensive. Some of the action is fun. It wants to be Boy Meets World, but does not. Boy Kills World, sorry, but does not commit to it. There's flashes of style, but it doesn't know what it wants to be, and
it wants to be a Matthew Vaughn, Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah, but it can't really pull that off. Ruggs, opening thoughts. What did you think?
Yeah, I don't know how to talk about this. First of all, when Anthony says there's tons of these movies, I literally saw this movie.
Yeah.
It was made by Frank Grillo.
What?
Called King of Killers.
Who are you?
Who are you?
You know me.
I know who I am.
Now I'm using that clip at the beginning.
You know me. Who are you? But he's like the head of a assassins guild, and he decides that he wants to test all of his assassins, and so he puts a hit on himself.
Oh my god! This is the same movie.
Yeah, but that movie was fucking terrible.
Oh,
all right.
Okay,
that's not even. So this is better than that.
That
movie.
All right.
And I don't know how it's possible. This one had Frank Grillo in it, but alas, the movie was poorly funded or not quite there. This one, I felt like the opening 30 minutes was like, oh, this could be a real movie. It feels like a real movie. Like he goes and does this hit, and
They
he
get
falls
right
in
into
love with
it.
the girl.
Yeah.
And then this romance starts to happen, and I'm like, all right, it seems pretty serious. Like he's got this illness, and
It's Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, apparently a real thing.
and he like is in a quandary. He's like, okay, like I'm gonna get out of the business. I'm gonna quit, but now I got this fucking thing, and I don't know what to do. And it is for me, it was interesting up until this part. As soon as he goes to Palm Clementif,
Yeah.
and orders the hit on himself,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden these fucking assassins with like name cards start coming
Yeah,
up.
we'll talk about all of them. They're
and
great.
all of a sudden it starts spinning into this like larger than life Matthew Vaughn Kingsman type shit.
Yeah.
Like then I'm like, and if you're gonna be like Kingsman, you got to really bring it.
You got to commit to it fully.
You got to, and I felt like it was an abrupt shift, and it wasn't even worth the shift. Like they could have still handled it.
Yeah.
Like if they would have still handled it without going off the rails, it probably would have still felt better as a movie. Maybe not has been as fun. I don't know. They tried to up the fun factor on it, but I don't think it actually ever got there. It just seemed like it was barely a step above what they do on television with more like animated blood.
Oh, the CGI blood is horrible. There is so much animated CGI blood.
By the way, Imran, it's Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. not
Jacob.
Jacob.
Oh, Jacob? Oh, it's a soft J. I see. Jacob.
Creutzfeldt-Jakob.
Why don't they spell it with a Y? These science fucks. Jacob.
But he just had a pinched nerve. That's all it was.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right, Ruggs. That you summed it up better than I could. In that it kicks into this other gear, but that other gear doesn't ever actually kick in. And they're like, all these assassins are like bottom of the barrel. Like they're just doing the like stereotype, right? Like one guy that's Koreans, it's Scottish guys, and it's a Mexican or a Hispanic guy. Yeah. And that's all. That's their only character trait. Like the Scottish guys just are arguing all the time, and you can't really understand what they're saying, so they need subtitles. The Koreans are dressed like anime characters.
They're a K-pop band. It's kind of
K-pop,
funny.
Yeah, and then the other guy's dancing to Latin music.
And there were some strippers in there.
Yeah, so you got the party girls who are strippers. You got
I appreciated that.
Botas, who's a flamenco dancer assassin, which is hilarious. He dances and kills you. Terry Crews plays Love Doll, who's kind of like a buddy for Joe, and he's always got well, not always, but he's got bitches with him. There's boobies in the movie. Scott Adkins is in this movie also. So I did appreciate them using like Scott Adkins, Drew McIntyre, probably doing their stunts and the fighting. Same with Marco Zaror, who played Botas. I believe he was probably doing all the fighting. So like that was nice because they got these guys who are known for this.
And then they just unceremoniously die because of a grenade.
That's the funniest thing. They all get blown up and they all get flashy titles and logos and introductions, and then they very quickly get killed. I thought it was like when we got these logos and these titles, I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. It's kind of has a style. But then it shifts to like something else and forgets about it and they die. And the movie wants to be a rom-com and be like an action movie and all these things. They tried to build this John Wick universe. I think it's hilarious that there's an app for the assassins that's like
that was a
like
stretch.
Tinder.
Stupid.
You swipe back and forth. But they get into, at least it gets into it right away. It is funny that he meets her like on a hit. Like why he shoots a guy and then goes back to fucking save her.
See, what I would have liked is that when he saves her, instead of just him saving her and like pulling her out and that's it, like he fucks up a bunch of dudes too.
Oh yeah, so
she
sees him.
So she kind of always in the back of her head knows that this guy's can fucking kill people.
Yeah, no, but they don't. Well, she doesn't know the whole time that he's a killer until towards the end.
Yeah, but then like all of a sudden she's cool with it. Like that's what you have to make that leap. Now all of a sudden she's completely fine with him killing. Yeah. And at the end of the movie she's like, oh, maybe you don't have to kill people.
At the end she's like, college fund. We need money. Maybe you should try. I'm like, what the fuck?
Who the fuck wrote this? I'm like, okay, like if it's a comedy, like you didn't really do enough work to make me like be okay with it. Like when you have a comedy, like let's say like a Deadpool, like it sets up all the work where you go, I can't take anything seriously, so whatever. But they tried to make the beginning serious, and they do the switcheroo thing, and I think that's it works if you're like if what you get is better than what you got before. But what I got before was actually working. And
Yeah, I
then
agree.
and then all of a sudden they go. That's why I felt like, hey, I was kind of liking this movie for a second, and I don't know what the fuck did you do to it. So that's how I felt about it.
You got to get all the killers coming after him so he can kill them and say really horrible one-liners while he's killing them.
Oh, I wrote down the
I'm
one-liners.
curious, Anthony, which one of these lines made you laugh? Because I was rolling my eyes so hard.
Oh, did Ali G make you laugh?
Oh, that guy, yeah. Money, the driver.
Oh, yeah.
He was kind of funny.
I
That
thought
was straight up Ali G.
It was,
That
he was doing Ali
wearing
G.
yellow.
I wrote down the 3 lines.
Okay.
That he says. So when he kills the Scottish guys, he goes, "Mess with the bull."
Oh my God.
Get the horn.
That's cringe line number 1. Yes.
The stripper one I thought was funny. I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
That
And he
is the second
crosses her with-
cringe line.
Wow, what
yes.
a cliche. Those are the
Yes.
most cliche
And
lines
then-
I've ever
My
heard.
favorite
I
one
know
though
what you're
is
gonna
when
say.
he kills Botas and he goes, "No mas Botas."
No mas botas. No.
Okay, that one's better than
That's
the other
that one is better.
No mas Botas
Yeah.
is straight out of the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an Arnold line if I ever heard
That's
one.
like the Steven Seagal line.
I think the problem though with Batista and even Sofia Boutella is one, they don't have any chemistry
They do-
together.
yeah,
Two,
yes.
they're both super dry in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he's very dry and she's not very I don't think she's a very good actress.
No, she's not.
And she's in a lot of different things. And I
Yes.
don't think she's ever stood out as a good actress in anything. So they have no chemistry whatsoever. And then, as mentioned, the action isn't the best. It's not super funny. You have this stylized hitman world, but fuck, we've seen that. We've seen that in John Wick, and it's done a million times better in John Wick.
Yeah.
Right. So there's all these little things that add up to just kind of a middle of the road assassin movie. The other line I wrote down though that I did enjoy was when he's getting the chiropractic from his wife.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she twists his neck, and for a second, everything stops,
Yeah.
and you just hear Ben Kingsley in the background go, "Oh my God, you paralyzed me."
Ben Kingsley, I also thought was kind of phoning it in. He's great. I mean, this man is amazing, but he has the most cringy line at the end when he shows up and shoots Antoinette in the head.
Don't hate the player,
Don't
hate the
hate
game.
the player,
He just
hate
did
the game. Really? What the fuck? That is the worst line. These played out one-liners are so bad.
I did write that one down. I forgot to say that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, they were just taking normal things that people say and making them the one-liners.
You know what made me laugh the most was Terry Crews. Because when he shows up and fucking Ali G is his driver and they're it's hilarious. And he's just like, shut the fuck up, please. Just shut the fuck up. And then at one point she punches him out and he picks her up and then he goes, get in the car and stop fucking bleeding all over the place. Their interaction was funny. He was funny. He was just having a blast being Terry Crews. I don't even think he was acting. He was just fucking hanging out. I did like the Mackenzie brothers. I thought were funny. Scott Adkins, Drew McIntyre, all the subtitling, especially at the end when they show up and he's like, "What's that smell? Did you shit yourself?" The guy's like, "Maybe."
And then he smells it later.
Yeah, and then Joe Flood is like, "What's that smell?" But just
Joe Flood's also not a great name.
Joe Flood, so silly.
Yeah, it's. I didn't have any I had no expectation in this movie. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that this movie was coming out.
Yeah, no, clearly nobody knew or still knows.
I think if you have John Wick, you got Beekeeper, and you got
But Boy
another-
Kills World is a much better version of this that we recently saw.
Oh yeah, I think so. I agree.
That movie is hell of fun thinking about it compared to this. That's what they wanted. They just
the girl with the helmet.
the
With the
fucking
helmet, them killing all the people on the ice set.
dude, brass knuckles with the gun strapped onto it. Come on, that's fucking amazing. Yeah,
You have to really go if you're gonna do a movie
yes.
like this. You have to really
go for it.
Yeah.
So there are moments where they go for it. For example, the first
where?
when the Koreans come at him and he kills them all. I love the part where he uppercuts that girl and her teeth fly in the air, and then he catches them on the way down to throw them and those blades. But then I didn't understand. Is he super strong? Because he's throwing people through walls and shit like they're weigh nothing.
Well, I mean, he is Batista.
He's a big guy, and he's such a giant tatted dude that Sofia Boutella seems so tiny when he's carrying her. He's a big guy. Have you, by the way, speaking of that, have you seen what he looks like recently? Have you been following?
He's slimmed down a lot.
Slimmed down.
He's lost 75 pounds.
Him him and Mother's Milk are on the same diet.
Oh yeah,
He lost 75. I saw an interview actually. He lost 75 pounds, but he's still 6'4" and 240 pounds.
He's down to 240. So he said he bulked up for that Knock at the Cabin Door movie for M. Night. He was 315, and he even says in these interviews that he felt uncomfortable, like he overdid it. He was a little too big. So he's just essentially trying to slim down to something normal. But he said he feels healthier, which is great. But yeah, 240, he's still a big guy. But man,
I don't think he's just not he's not good enough to be the lead in a movie.
I'm surprised. I go back and forth on Batista because sometimes he's really good and sometimes he's just like okay. And in this, he's like just okay. Like I don't know if he was into it, if he's done with these roles and they're tiring. But he's probably one of the better wrestler turned actors out there.
I feel like, if you're talking about a wrestler, like him and Rock are probably
Cena, John Cena.
Those are the three they talk about.
Yeah, those are the they're all kind of on the same level, I think, of acting.
They're all well, I think The Rock can play like
he's more charismatic.
Yeah, I think Cena and Batista both. I think Cena has more range as like a comedy actor.
His comedic shit is great. He's fantastic.
Batista is also funny, but I think Batista is best as like the second or third guy.
Yeah, maybe not the lead.
Not the lead. Because he just, I don't know. I felt like he was just very dry throughout the entire movie.
Well, here's a little bit of production and some what ifs of this movie.
What ifs are with this movie?
Yes, like different directors and stars. Yeah, but here's the thing. This book was written in 97, instantly optioned for a movie. They were trying to make it since the late 90s, and it's been quietly shoved around to multiple studios. Here's directors that were offered this movie. John Woo.
That's like a match made in heaven. This is a John Woo.
This would have been a great John Woo movie.
Script, yeah.
Wolfgang Peterson.
I don't know about that.
Alex Proyas. That could have been.
Oh my God. No, I don't know about that either.
Rennie Harlan.
No.
This one you're going to love. Fucking Pitoff. Remember Pitoff?
I guess John Woo and Wolfgang Peterson would be the best. Wolfgang would make into a spy movie, like a very European spy movie.
I could absolutely see John Woo. Remember fucking Catwoman? Pitoff.
I like the rice Pitoff.
John Woo. This would be a cool John Woo movie. All right. Actors. Wesley Snipes considered at one point for Joe Flood.
And probably in like the late 90s.
He was like the first one. Yeah. This was then Michael Keaton. Also around late 90s, early 2000s. And then this one makes sense. Jason Statham. You can absolutely see Jason Statham.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Jason Statham did his movie for this year. Yes, it was called Beekeeper.
And it's a lot better than this. And he got his... and originally...
Not more ridiculous, but so much more enjoyable.
Before Terry Crews, Ice Cube was cast as Love Doll and then replaced Terry Crews.
You want to know why The Beekeeper was so good?
Yeah.
It's because the character of The Beekeeper was just such a fucking throwback to just the badass of all badasses that didn't give a fuck.
Right.
And Batista's not really giving that as much in this. He's badass, but like he's not like Jason Statham badass.
Well, Jason Statham's also so committed to this like the B lines.
Oh yeah, it just works.
He's saying them so seriously, and they're such stupid lines, but he's so committed to like the hive and the bee puns and all this shit, and it just like I'm like I've never heard a action hero use bee puns throughout the movie. Whereas Batista's lines, we just went over some of his one-liners. It's just common things that were said in society.
Yeah, they were the worst.
He's just using like the good one was no mas botas, which is funny. No mas.
I mean, they needed way better lines.
That's the most cliched one-liners.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. They're going for the assassin throwback, big 80s guy vibe. Yeah. But the thing is the movie's not. It's not Edgar Wright enough, right? Or Matthew Vaughn, or anything like that. It's not leaning that heavy, and the action isn't good enough where you can be like, oh, it's less. It's like it's not like The Raid or like these action movies that we've been seeing where you're like, oh, they can hang its head on the action.
They were trying,
and it doesn't have enough. It doesn't have boobs. I mean, it does, but the boobs aren't great,
right?
And it doesn't have enough good one-liners. So it's like all the things that you need. Like if you could just nail a couple of those things, it would have been better. But they don't nail any.
It fails on execution. I think the thing they do the best is there's a lot of brutal kills and violent things.
But the brutal kills are not brutal when it's CGI blood.
Well, so at one point I was so high watching this movie. At one point I was like, maybe they meant this to look all cartoony blood. Maybe this is part of the decision because
They might have been.
I thought it was because that's the whole thing. This movie doesn't go. It doesn't pick a lane.
But if you have to wonder, then they didn't do it
then
right.
They did it. It was like you can't get some fucking squibs. How hard is that? It's just fucking fake blood in a packet with a little explode. Get some squibs.
Well, they spent $30 million. What are they doing?
It makes a difference. It's squibs. I mean, even John Woo used squibs with like little money he had in Hong Kong.
All of the you could take all of John Woo's movie that he made in Hong Kong and it still wouldn't cost $30 million.
And his
roll them all together.
His fucking squib explosions are amazing, and you buy it. And this just was like, why are you doing this? But a lot of grenades exploding, some dudes on fire. That's probably the action scenes are probably the strongest thing in this movie, and they're not even that great. The ending is completely ridiculous.
I thought the ending was super
because
weak.
they get away, Maisie and Flood, and he confesses he's a killer, and then she's got shot. She tells him she's pregnant. They end up at a church. He wants to get married. He's got to confess, and the priest is like, "Oh, what the fuck? All right, whatever." And they get married while fighting off more assassins. And what?
So if you're gonna put this with like direct to streaming release action movies, it's not even on par with like something like the Extraction movies.
It's mid-tier for Netflix. This fucking movie.
Yeah, it felt like a Netflix movie.
It felt like it probably should have just been.
It felt like that movie. It felt to me. It reminded me of that movie that we reviewed with Jamie Foxx, where he was fighting the vampires.
That's Day Shift. This is the same director.
What about Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds? That was a big action movie that they did over there.
Had great. I think the Gray Man was even better.
I like the Gray Man more than this. Yeah,
I think the Charlize Theron one is better.
I like this one better than the Charlize Theron one.
What the fuck was that called? They're making
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize that the Day Shift and the Killer's Game were the same.
We should do a tier list of all like streaming action
mid-tier street like shitty action movies. I mean, there's a lot of
there's a lot of them.
Because then you do go down the Frank Grillo route. Like there's that level, which is even below.
Boss level is, I would put Boss level above
is
a
legit streaming action movie. But some of these other ones are even below that. Their budgets are smaller and they're even more obscure.
Did you like this better than The Crow?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
I liked it better than Crow.
I think it's a little more entertaining.
I had more fun with it than The Crow. And the thing is, The Crow offended me on a level of like personally. Like I was like, I love The Crow and you're fucking, what are you doing?
You're just shitting all over it.
Yeah, I want to like this movie and you're making me not like it. This movie I never even had any intentions of watching. And so I was like, I was amused to watch it.
No, you're right.
Did you like this better than Argyle?
That is also a good question.
I like this a little better than Argyle.
I think it's tied, I guess.
Argyle does not make a lot of sense.
If you want to talk about mid-action movies, we've seen a bunch.
At least, though, I will give Argyle, Matthew Vaughn, he commits to his style. And so, again, I think this movie wanted to be some of that, and it fails. So I feel like Argyle is still the better movie.
Question for Imran. Do you like this better than the original Kingsman?
100%. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
I'm joking.
No, I take Kingsman.
Kingsman is much more confident movie. It knows what it wants to be.
You got Samuel L. Jackson with a lisp in there. Come on.
Is that the second? That's the second one.
That's the first one.
Oh, that was the first one. What was the
and Sophia Boutella?
The other movie. I mean, I thought Boutella was maybe a little better than in the Rebel Moon movies here.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's another. Is it better than the Rebel Moon?
Yes, I think so.
I haven't seen the 2 3-hour versions.
Yes, by the way, both of the director's cuts of that movie, they're like 3 or 4 hours each are out, and I have no desire to even watch it. I know I was going to.
I feel like I have to be in a mood to punish myself.
I don't have 8 hours to fucking spend on another Rebel Moon outing. Fuck off.
I think I will say after watching this movie, I think I'm done with Sophia Boutella.
She's not good, bro.
I don't think she's good.
She should be a side character and even less. She's not. She's just not good. I think, was she a model? Where did she come from? It's kind of like, who played Enchantress? It's kind of like that same deal. What's her name in the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She was also a model turned actress.
Is Sophia Boutella a model?
I don't know where she came from. She can kind of do the action, but I don't know.
I mean, she's got like an exotic look, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
she's like
yeah.
Algerian and French,
Yeah.
but
I also did not buy their chemistry at all.
no.
It was not good. So, all right. Well, let's fucking wrap this up. Give me a final thoughts and a number, Anthony.
That's me.
Yes.
Final thoughts. It's ultimately a very mid movie.
Yeah.
In terms of, we've seen so many of these types of movies now. The whole assassin thing it's almost kind of played out now in the action genre.
Yeah. We're getting
And then you throw in the zany comedy comic book, the title cards, and everyone has a gimmick and everyone is a stereotype, and that's been played out too. So then you throw both of those things together, and if you don't have something that really sticks out, it's just going to be very boring and average. And that's what this movie is. I will say I was entertained at times. At times I did laugh. The beginning of the story with when they really play up the Kreutzfeld Jock, I was like, oh wow, this is very, very like I'm feeling things.
Yeah.
I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah.
This sucks. And then, like Ruggs mentioned, I think he hit it on the head. When it takes that turn, at first the turn, I go, oh, this is kind of funny. He called the hit on himself. But then you go to all the different assassins and the title cards start popping up, and it's like, oh, they're not really going as hard on this as they can.
Yeah.
This isn't. It doesn't have the balls.
It wasn't worth the shift.
No. Yeah, exactly. So overall, very mid movie, as the kids would say. I would say my rating on this is a 5.5.
All right, Ruggs.
Wow. I got the same exact number there. I was like 5.5 for me. It's not like, look, I'll watch an action movie any time of the day.
Yeah.
Like if it's an action movie that's, okay. So I'm cool with watching this movie. I think if anybody who really wants to watch an action movie and itching for that, like you can watch this and it's not going to surprise you. It's not going to impress you, but it'll be an action movie. And that's all I can say about it. It's an action movie that's got meh action in it. And it's put together in a presentation that's watchable. It's maybe a little long than it should be.
How was the runtime? It felt longer than
1:35.
an hour, but did it feel long or?
Yeah, it felt like it should be like an hour 30 at most.
It felt longer than
they
it
could
was.
probably tightened it up a little bit, but it's inoffensive. It's just like a meh movie. That's all.
5.5. I thought of a couple other things I did like when he's texting her when he gets the phone where he's like the sup girl. He tries to text that. That was kind of funny. The montage with the dating and the killing, I thought that was clever. There were some clever edits. But aside,
that wasn't bad.
It was.
That's when the movie was still good.
Yeah, and they're having fun, and there's a little bit of style the way the scenes are swiping over and kind of blending into each other. Like I thought.
Yeah,
that
but
was clever.
none of the highlights are from when the hits are going.
No, he's
on.
like at work, and then at night he's like hanging out with her. Right. I did enjoy the European locations. It starts in Hungary. They go all over the place. Nice scenery, but outside of some of the fun action scenes, I'm with you guys. It's generic. It's predictable.
Yeah, it was like just locked into 3 locations, and it got really tedious.
It's mid tier. It doesn't know what it wants to be. I will also give it a 5.5. I think that is absolutely
we all
suitable score.
Agree on the score for the first time.
They should have done more with his size, because they do these like fight scenes where he's like dodging punches and punching back and like kind of an assassin-y, and it should have just been like, all right, we have Batista, he's just a tank.
Right.
He's just gonna crush dudes.
Yeah, he's just gonna like hold his hand up or just slam him into the wall.
Was it just me, or you could tell Batista's aging there and how he moves?
He looked real slow. There were a lot of like overhead shots where it looked like it was like from the 80s, where you could totally tell it was another guy.
Yeah,
moving around.
Hide that.
It's like because it was like above him, way smaller guy, shitty haircut, and you're going, oh yeah, this is like back when they just didn't give a fuck in the 80s, and it would be like clearly another stuntman.
And I mean,
they were just like, oh, he's white. It's close enough.
I love those. I love when you can see the Arnold stuntman clearly, and they give no fucks. They're like, oh no, that's not him. That's not fucking Eddie Furlong, but this is a cool shot. And
the Beverly Hills Cop, if you go back and watch some of those fight scenes, it's like there's clearly not Eddie, and it's just like another like a way darker black guy.
The guy that gets thrown out of the window, I think you see him in that scene in the beginning. But you have Drax and fucking Mantis here, and they just have no chemistry. They're so
Well,
much
no,
better as
well,
Drax
well-
as Mantis.
Yeah, they're both better.
Yeah.
I didn't like. Yeah, that's another thing. I didn't like Palm Clementif at all.
She was kind of wasted.
I wouldn't say wasted. I just didn't like her.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't really do much. She was just. I mean, he did kill.
They're kind of doing the
he did
whole.
kill her father.
Wait, whatever. They're doing the whole. They kind of have the Running Man vibe, where you have a big dude, and then you have all these other like zany characters that he has to kill. But you know, Sub-Zero became Plane Zero. Like those are great lines. This is all you've got is no mas botas. That's how you can hang yourself and hang your head on. You need more.
No, you need more. You had one.
I hope you have enough room for my fist because we're going to rip out your stomach or something. Like I'm going to rip it out your stomach, rip out your goddamn spine. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he says.
He says
or Action Jags, how do you like your ribs? As he shoots a fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah. You like your ribs.
That's great.
It's great. That's one of the best all timers. I think.
I knew you'd like that. Yeah, you need better lines. You can't just
you can't use
you can't go mess with the bull, get the horn.
You can't do hate.
Yeah, that's like something you'd hear like someone's dad say.
Yeah,
or,
I mean, the whole don't hate the player, hate the game. Really, what do we do?
When some of these, where you watch this movie and you go, wow, like some of these actors, like Ben Kingsley, I go, wow, is he really scrounging
He's
for work?
fucking slumming it.
Why is he in this movie?
He is slumming it in this one.
He's a long way away from Gandhi.
Like, I feel like he was phoning it in a little. He just was like, I need a paycheck. I don't know what's going on with Ben Kingsley.
I also didn't. I know you liked him. I didn't really care that like when you cast Terry Crews as the main assassin. I just go, I can't take this seriously at all.
No, you can buy it, but I was like, he's on AGT and now he's just killing people. It doesn't work. He's all wholesome.
The Old Spice guy that shakes his pecs.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
President Camacho. He's like
President Camacho. You also know. Here's another clue why that nobody's watched this movie on the Wikipedia. Nobody's bothered to put a plot summary.
Plot. Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
It's not
when
there.
the plot's not there, that there's no one watching.
Nobody saw it. Some of them, maybe some of our listeners watched it. Let's find out. News from the Nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It
That's a nice one.
stinks. It stinks.
a friendly fart.
Very dainty and friendly.
Yeah.
Turns out Jose Ibarra went out there, subjected himself to this. God bless you. You are single-handedly keeping the movie industry alive, Jose Ibarra. He says, this movie was a giant meh for me. There were some fun action scenes, but they got super repetitive real quick. There was absolutely no chemistry between Bautista and Butella. The way he delivered his lines, I felt like he genuinely didn't like her. And the rest of it is cut off. Hold on.
It just says see more, and I can't click it.
Copy the. It's that trick. It's that trick that makes you. It's that trick that goes see more, and you press it, and it's just an image, and it's not there. He says there was more chemistry in the Drax and Mantis scene than this movie gave us. The dialogue was so cringe at times, it felt like someone asked ChatGPT to write an action film using early 2000s high school boys dialogue. Yes, it's just bad lines.
See more.
Don't you hate that when they do that thing?
I clicked it and nothing happened.
I got you. I hate those fucking memes where they're like, "Oh, I have the secret to everything. See more," and it's there's nothing there. You got me. Okay, moving on. We're gonna slide into a little news from the nation / what are we watching? Because David Zika, Chris Marin both commented on this movie on Netflix called Rebel Ridge and posted the IMDb link. And he says, new on Netflix, I enjoyed it. Pretty standard story, but good tension and decent action. Chris Marin said, really enjoyed this. Some great callbacks to First Blood.
Absolutely.
Did you watch this, Ruggs?
I'm in the middle of watching it now.
Okay.
I have an hour left.
Okay, so we're just...
But like I've gotten to the part where now he's they
give us the premise. Give us the premise of the movie.
Oh, I give you the premise?
Give me the premise.
So this dude, he's just, on his bike on his way to bail his cousin out from prison. He's got a bunch of money with him. And this cop just fucking like fucks with him and like arrests him and like seizes his money.
Yep.
And so now he's just like, you have no right to do this. This is fucked up. And they're like, well, listen, like this is what's happening. And so now he gets pissed off and he tries to do everything he can to help his cousin out. But these cops they're clearly corrupt and being cocksuckers. And so he just takes it upon himself to like start fucking back with them. And it just spins out of control. He gets someone else involved. And I'm at the point in the movie now where the guy who, like the chief, basically calls a truce with him.
Yeah.
Like to stop fucking with us, we'll stop fucking with you. But now I think the deal was that he had to stay away. He had to not be seen in town.
Right.
And now he's been seen in town and now all shit's about to go off.
So this is written and directed by this guy, Jeremy Saulnier, who has done, he directed Green Room and Blue Ruin and Hold the Dark. But the lead guy, Don Johnson, is in this as the police chief. He's great. The lead guy is Aaron Pierre. I've seen him in a couple of things, but he's great. He is this giant dude, but he's got this quiet intensity that I really like. So I won't spoil things, Ruggs. I've seen the whole movie. And I will say this. He mentions First Blood. There's a lot of John Rambo in this because the guy is like kind of living in the forest. He doesn't have a place to live. He just rolled into this town and you see. So I wish there was more of that. There is a great scene where he catches a fish just with his hand and a worm. Like he digs out a worm and just holds it in the water. And then yoink, snatch, catches a fish. I was like, this motherfucker. He's very resourceful. Jesus. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Just caught a fish. So,
actually, I do like the movie is actually very engaging.
Yeah.
And it is a slow burn, but the tension is good.
So here's what I think overall. I did enjoy it. It's just okay. It's way too long. It's like 2 hours, 11 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like it's really long.
The beginning is great, but it kind of resolves itself in the first hour. And then it like spins its wheels for like another like 40 minutes. And then there's a great action scene at the end. That middle part could definitely have been tightened up. This could have been a great like 90-minute movie. But it's decent.
It's a little long.
It's a little long. Yeah. But it's very serious. And you know,
yeah, I like that.
And I like this guy, Aaron Pierre. So I would check it out. It's a good Netflix movie. I think it's too long. You'll see. It literally, I thought myself thinking it has lost the plot. I know the kids say that these days, but it
meanders a little bit.
It literally loses the plot. I was like, what, where are we going? What is happening? And they got to do all this shit to get him to go back and fucking with these cops. But there's some good shit there. So, Anthony, what are you watching?
Well, football's back, so I've been watching that. But this weekend was a big UFC 306 called Riyadh Season Presents Noche UFC because the Saudis were sponsoring this event, and we all know that the Saudis and Mexicans have a very tight, close bond throughout the years.
Same food,
yeah, same cuisine for sure.
Yeah.
But the big draw for this, obviously, the main event was Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, but the draw actually was that they were hosting this venue in the Sphere.
Wow.
Or Sphere, is what it's called.
In
so
Vegas.
If you're not aware of it, it's this giant venue in Vegas, made for concerts, but it's the largest EXO LED screens and the largest interior LED screen ever. And if just type in Sphere Las Vegas into YouTube, and you'll see that this thing was insane.
Holy shit.
It was every fight they would change the background of this thing, so it looked like they were fighting in different Mortal Kombat Mexican landscapes, and it was crazy. You have to I can't even describe it. You have to just Google or YouTube.
It's pretty trippy.
Dude, you shared some clips of this, and I was like, I need some edibles and all the mushrooms and go in this fucking thing because it was fucking wild. I really need to go in this thing. The screen is unbelievable. It surrounds you.
Yeah, it's from the floor to above your head in the ceiling.
I'm sure you listener have seen it.
And screen in the world.
I need to see what these files look like. How the fuck do you even make shit for this? But you got these giant wrestlers and they're flying through all this shit. And you feel like you're flying, even in like the short videos. I need to check out the Sphere. That looked awesome. What a great venue. Very smart.
I gotta go there and check it out.
Dana White to pick this.
Yeah, he wanted. He said basically like this is where entertainment meets sports, and how this is what it could be. Like you could do crazy shit like this, and not because he was saying it for a lot of sports. You know, the halftime shows like juggler or someone on a trampoline. He's like, but this is like the next level.
Yeah, check out any of the video. It's fucking wild. It looked great. Forgot to mention Dana White did this in the Venom movie. Did this little promo? Did you see that? Where Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, because like he needs money to gamble, shows up to Dana White asking for money, and he wants to fight, and then like he's choking out some dude, and Dana gives him money, and they're swearing. It was very strange, very strange thing. Bruggs, what were the movie reviews you posted on the Patreon this week?
Yeah, I posted a bunch, 3 to be exact. I'm not going to give you the full review. You'd have to go to Patreon and get that. But I watched horror movie Malignant, made by James Wan.
Oh, yeah.
That could have been an amazing film, but I figured it out way too early. So then it frustrated me for the rest of the time. Because it's like when you make a movie that's supposed to have all of this like suspense and it's a thriller, you want to be able to like at least until halfway through the movie be like in the dark and then feel like, oh, I'm figuring this out. Okay, it's totally worth it. I'm watching this unravel. But they literally, I think James Wan either wanted everyone to figure it out and have a bad time, which I don't know why he did that, or he had the hubris of thinking that he was smarter than the audience and he wasn't, because I figured it out way too early.
That's too bad. It's nice when the movie has you figure it out when they want you to figure it out.
But this is a campy movie with really melodramatic dialogue, with great visuals, and it has a fucking crazy fucking, I don't want to say what happens in the last act, but the last act is pretty bonkers. And that's enjoyable, but ultimately I found it frustrating. So some people might love it. I have heard people give it great reviews. But I thought, just like Barbarian, it's not my cup of tea when I'm sitting there ahead of the game too much. It ruins the experience for me if I like know what's happening the whole time and waiting for everyone else to catch up in the movie. So that was my review of that. Then I watched first time director, daughter of Robin Williams, Zelda Williams' first movie, Lisa Frankenstein, which is on. So Malignant is on Max, and Lisa Frankenstein is on Prime, I believe.
Oh, it's Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda.
Yeah, it's basically a
Diablo Cody writing. She's good.
Yeah, Diablo Cody of Juno fame and Jennifer's Body fame wrote this, and it's basically a kind of send off on a lot of different movies, but it reminds me of like Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
Where a girl falls in love with like a weirdo, like a weird being that, you know, that they were not falls in love, but this one, they're more friends. And then they fall in love at the end, but because she has this friendship with this weirdo zombie, I guess.
Okay.
And it turns into it descends into like Heather's territory. So it's very 80s, very 90s, very gothy, very Tim Burton-y.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It has, so it's not, is it a great movie? No, but I think it's got, for a first time director beginning movie, I think it's not too bad.
Is he Frankenstein? Is her last name actually Frankenstein? Just happens to be? Okay.
No, there's just an undead person in this. So then I watched The Boy and the Heron, which is Hayao Miyazaki's supposedly final film.
Yeah, I think it won the Oscar last year, Best Animated Feature.
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
This is a fucked up movie because it's one of the movies that if you watch it and you're not really prepared for like the type of shit that you're going to watch, you're not going to get it. It's going to be something that turns you off. I feel like that Megalopolis is going to be like that type of movie. I kind of
can't wait to watch that. The shit I've been hearing about that sounds fucking bonkers crazy, and I'm so curious.
So what this is like, it's a allegory for his life, like his own life, Miyazaki's life. Yeah. And I don't want to give away everything, but basically the story is about a boy who has to like start a new life after his mother passes away, and the struggles of having kind of an absentee father. Like his father's always working, and he's just kind of like in this new place and trying to adapt. And he ends up through following this heron being led into a fantasy world. But it is an allegory for this guy's life. If you really dig into it, it's actually pretty poignant, and it is actually amazing. This movie haunted me after I watched it.
Deep.
Well, I watched it and I fucked around with it, and then I went and watched some other reviews.
Yeah.
Went deeper into it,
Yeah.
and I just kept on getting more and more fascinated with what I watched. And I'm like, I gotta watch it again. But it's not a pleasant movie to watch. But it is beautiful.
They're all beautifully animated. The movies.
It's not as most accessible movie. Like, he has got other movies that are way more accessible, but this one is the most, I think, personal of his, and has a lot of his stuff in there. And
but if somebody wanted to start watching Studio Ghibli movies, would you recommend they start with this one?
No.
Maybe, okay, not this one. This should be the last one. He's like, no.
But
Absolutely.
you want to know about Studio Ghibli movies in general? They are layered as fuck.
Sure.
And you could watch a movie on the surface but then there's so much more going on.
Okay.
And then there's so much more in the details if you look at certain things, and like even the settings and how what they have in the backgrounds and stuff like that. They're all just so amazing. And they're like, they destroy any Disney movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always thought the animation was stunning. All right, so out of those three, Malignant, Lisa Frankenstein, Boy and the Heron, if you had to recommend just one, which one would you do?
I don't know. I mean, I think anybody could have fun with. If you're a horror movie person and don't mind stupidity or whatever, I think that Malignant is a fun watch. If you want a Tim Burton-y type film, I think Lisa Frankenstein's good. If you're really into Ghibli movies, you got to watch this movie.
Right.
And I think that's on Max too.
That's on Max. The other thing on Max that is finished up that I enjoyed, you know how I love the Harley Quinn cartoon?
Yes.
It's hilarious. Well, there's a spin-off show. Just finished its first season. It's called Kite Man. Hell yeah.
No, that was my podcast.
What's it called? Kite Man. Hell yeah.
No, the spinoff show.
Oh, the spinoff show. That was the Jock spinoff show. But it is a show following Kite Man and his girlfriend Golden Glider as they buy a bar and have to take care of the anti-life equation in a briefcase. And it's just as like fun and irreverent as the Harley Quinn show. Bane is absolutely hilarious in this show. It's a great Bane. You have Keith David voicing Apocalypse. Come on. That's awesome. He's great. It's a great Apocalypse. And it's just a fun, fucking ballsy, silly, crazy show. Just like the Harley Quinn show. So, and then I watched the Emmys last night. I don't know what
Jesus Christ.
What year this was.
Why?
I don't know, because it was on. It's Sunday night. It was on. I wanted to see. Here was the storyline going in. This is what I had to find out. Shogun, record-breaking 25 Emmy nominations.
Wow.
It goes home with 18 fucking Emmys.
Oh,
wow.
It won 18 out of the 25. Kind of.
I love that show. It just ended weird.
It's great. It absolutely deserves, I think, all of those. Shogun was a juggernaut. The Bear also cleaning up with 11, and then Baby Reindeer one big. But
Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, Baby Reindeer.
Never heard of it.
You never saw Baby Reindeer on Netflix? You should watch it. It's fucked up. It's a good story. It's like a one and done season of this guy's story that he went through this thing and kind of wrote this one man show and made a TV show. It's good. It's good. But Shogun, if you have not watched Shogun, fucking watch that shit. It's probably the best show that was on in the last year. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. So, you guys, here's our homework for next week. Here's what's out this week. September 18th, Agatha All Along, episodes 1 and 2. All right. The following day, September 19th, the Penguin Show on Max puts out its first episode. Now, here's what's interesting. There's a Rotten Tomato score for the Penguin Show. There's reviews. Critics have seen the whole show. They've reviewed it. It's currently, with 52 reviews, it's sitting at 90% Tomatometer.
That's good.
Not bad. I'm excited to see Christian Milioti playing Sophia Falcone. Apparently, she's really good. Now, contrast that with Agatha All Along. The review embargo doesn't lift until the show airs.
Oh, shit.
There's no scores so far. So, I don't know. That's not a good sign. But I think let's review all those things. And then, incidentally, Ruggs, you might like this. Zack Snyder's animated Norse show, Twilight of the Gods. Is it a movie? I think it's a movie. that also comes out this week. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this?
I'll watch it. I like animation.
Yeah, and it's got like Thor and all the Norse gods in it, and
It's totally something I would watch.
and it's Zack Snyder, and it looks like there's a lot of blood and slow motion animation. They
Perfect.
save money because it's all in slow motion. There's not as many frames. I don't know.
They just
Anthony, comments on any of those? What are you excited for Agatha or the Penguin?
No, not Agatha.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm excited for either, but I think the Penguin's probably going to be good, and Agatha, maybe it'll surprise me.
Apparently, the Penguin picks up like a week after the Batman ends. I almost want to try to squeeze in another viewing of that movie because still, I've only watched it once. Just never come back to watch the Batman.
the Batman?
Yeah. Only watched it the one time. So that's a lot of fun geek stuff. You do your homework. We'll be discussing those next week. That's it for this week. Ruggs, where can the people find you?
Rug Boy Show on X. Come follow me along with the other tens of OnlyFans models that are following.
Anthony, where can people find you?
You can find me starting up a web series called After Bar Reviews.
We need this.
Where I will be reviewing bars and throwing it on Patreon while I'm drunk.
I think
I can't wait to hear all of these.
I think this is a service the world needs.
Our
kidding,
Patreon's
but if
gonna
I do
skyrocket.
Yeah, I'm half kidding, but if I do remember to do it while I'm drunk, you might get you might get a 3:30 a.m. voice memo.
That's fine.
Hey, Imran.
Yeah, listener, we just
Here's what I think of
like
Shelby's Tavern,
just like all
in Carpentersville.
Let me tell you about the service. Just like Rug Boy's been posting movie reviews, we want Anthony to post his come home late at night, post your club review. I want to know about the service, the drinks, the DJ, the talent. I need to know what the scene is like, the age range, what I feel uncomfortable there.
Well, the best part about the ages is I keep getting older, but everyone else stays the same age.
It's weird how that works. I don't understand. I don't understand how this works.
It's the best time to join the Patreon, people. If you're listening to the show this long,
how could you not want that? Check out our show notes and our website, jockandnerd.com, and the episode description has links to everything. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Hey, Stanley, what's going on?
I want your head up when I throw my fist in the air.
Okay. You got it, buddy.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
What the fuck is going on here?
Jock and Nerd.